Hi, this is Brett Ingram, award-winning entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you how to transform customer service into epic branding. So when we think about customer service, especially as a business owner, we may think of it as a pain or a hassle or unfortunate situation because we have to deal with stuff. We've made the sale and what we want to be able to do is move on and make more sales. Or maybe we have a positive attitude about it and we feel like it's great to help customers and make them be successful. But one way or another, in general, customer service is often looked at from the perspective of a cost center and something that's a necessary evil or sort of inconvenience to doing business. If we think of ourselves as customers, we've all been in a situation where we've gotten customer service that we weren't so happy with. Maybe we tried to reach out to a company that we purchased something from and we're on hold for an hour. Or maybe they're supposed to call us back and we never get a call back. Or maybe they were supposed to send us a replacement or process a refund or whatever it is, and the stuff doesn't get done. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense in some ways, because if a company looks at that as a sort of a lesser important element of their business because they want to focus on generating sales, you can understand that intuitively, because we all need to generate enough sales to be able to pay the bills and grow. At the same time, it's a very short-sighted approach that ultimately, in the long term, hurts us more than it helps us. If we handle customer service the right way, and if we treat it the right way, it can actually become something that stands out and differentiates us as a brand. I talk a lot about the importance of authenticity as an individual or content creator. So if we're making social media or videos or podcasts or whatever, I talk a lot about being authentic, because being authentic is the thing that right now will draw people to us, because there's so few people and there's so much more AI-driven and bot-driven things and Me Too tactics that there's so much less authenticity. Interestingly, when we look at businesses, it's the same phenomenon when it comes to customer service. The average customer service experience for people is average at best. For a lot of cases and for a lot of companies and a lot of people, if you ask them, give me your general thoughts about your experience in customer service, receiving customer service when you've needed it, when you bought a product or done business with a company. In general, we will get feedback that is lukewarm to negative. Very rarely is there something extremely positive. And so if we look at this from a business owner's perspective, this gives us a golden opportunity. Because if we're able to transform that situation into something where our customer is overwhelmed positively and thrilled by the experience that they've got, then they're going to be more likely to share that. They're definitely going to come back and do business with us again, and it's going to prove a great branding opportunity. One of the companies that's synonymous with customer service, and some of their stories are the stuff of legend, is Nordstrom, the big retailer. They're a high-end retailer with expensive products. But there's a very famous story, and nobody even really knows if it's true. It might be made up. But it illustrates the point perfectly. So apparently, at some point, decades past, a man walked into Nordstrom, an elderly man, and he went to the counter and he said to them, I'd like to return the 4 tires that I bought, car tires. And they said, okay, show me the receipt or whatever. And apparently they gave this man a refund of a couple $100. Obviously, if Nordstrom, then you know they don't sell automotive products or tires. So the idea that they would give a refund to somebody who isn't even potentially a customer from them is obviously why it becomes the stuff of legend. Now, it might be made up, but that's the impression that everybody has of their customer service. L.L.Bean is famous for the lifetime returns, lifetime warranty on every product. I think they made some modifications to their policy, but the idea was you could buy camping equipment, you could buy a sleeping bag, you could buy a canteen, you could use it for as long as you want, And if you felt that it didn't hold up or the quality wasn't good, you could send it back and they'd give you another one. Legendary. Nobody would ever do that, especially there's usually like 30 days returns if you don't use it, stuff like that. But again, for them, while it may have cost them, because we think as a business owner, oh no, what if everybody starts sending their stuff back? And that's true. There will be people that take advantage of it. But the flip side of that is that the word spreads really fast about how awesome they are at customer service. And what it does is it not only creates goodwill for the company, but it instills a tremendous amount of confidence as a consumer to want to buy through them because you're going to be taken care of. So if we flip the script a little bit and we think about customer service as a way to use it as a branding tool, where not only are we super satisfying our customers, but at the same time, we're actually benefiting ourselves from it instead of grumbling about needing to support another disgruntled customer. There are a number of ways that we could do this. They're all factors that sort of factor into it. So we can do one or multiple or all. But if we contribute in doing these things, it will help us build our customer service function into something that will actually be a branding opportunity and an additional sales and revenue opportunity as opposed to just a cost structure. So it involves a combination of strategies that are all enhanced, all like designed to the same thing, and that's enhancing the customer experience. What we want is for the customer to come out of it with the impression that we are amazing to do business with. And if we're able to do that, then we're going to get a lot more business from that, and we're going to get more great branding opportunities too. So here are some effective ways to do that. The first one is to understand the customer needs at the core level, right? If we understand what our customer needs, what their preferences are, what their pain points, why do they shop with us? What is it that they're buying from us? And if we don't know the answers to these things, we can do surveys. We can analyze the feedback. We can use data points. We can ask people at point of purchase, what problem are they hoping to solve? What benefit are they hoping to gain? And we can find out why people do business with us in the first place. If we understand that, then we understand what their goal was in doing business with us. If we understand what their goal was in doing business with us, it's a lot easier to understand how we can serve them better. If we're guessing they bought something, sure, there's going to be some things that are obvious. If they need support, we respond right away, right? Obviously, earlier or faster is going to be better than slower in 100% of the cases. But if we understand on a deeper level what exactly that they're trying to gain, what problem they're solving, or what pain points they've got, it not only gives us insight into the customer service function at our company, but it also gives us insight into what we should do for the future from a strategic standpoint as well. So understanding what it is that the customers wants in the first place. Yes, they might buy a widget, but it's not the widget they want. It's something that the widget can do for them or make them feel or whatever. Second thing that we could do, if we have it, if we have a staff, is we could train and empower employees. One of the things that I learned, and I don't remember who actually said this, I don't remember which company was the one who spearheaded this idea, but I loved it. What they did was they created a customer service policy. And the policy had some very broad rules to it. It was stuff like we serve the customer, provided that we, whatever it is, provided that we won't lose money on the particular sale or whatever. And anything outside of those rules, like anything within those rules, every employee in the place, whether they worked in customer service, sales, shipping, it didn't matter. Every person in the place was empowered by the company to work, to deal with customers and offer anything as long as it fit within those parameters. So I forget the specifics of it, but I thought, wow, what a great idea. Instead of having a customer service staff or a customer service person and teaching them detailed list by list thing about how to handle each and every case, why not think about what impression we want to create for our customer in their mind, create the guidelines for how we can do that, and make it a company-wide policy. So if anybody deals with any customer at any stage of the game, they're empowered to do that. And I thought, how powerful is that? And how rewarding as an employee or a staff member at that company to know that they're not treating you like a moron. They're giving you authority to act within these parameters to do whatever fit to make sure that customer walks out of here feeling happy. And I think it's a fantastic model, as long as we can just come up with the guidelines and the rules for what we're willing to do and not. If we provide that kind of training to either the customer service function in our business or to the entire company, and we give them the skills and knowledge so they can address the customers effectively. Obviously, they need the data points as well. If there's customer information, they need to have access to what the customers bought and all those kinds of things as well. If we empower them to make the decisions and resolve the issues promptly without escalating them, the other thing that it does is it takes pressure off of the boss, because the boss isn't constantly dealing with triaged requests that the people that work for them can't answer because they don't have the power to do it. So it's a win. We make a happy customer. It's a win. Make a happy customer. We have an empowered employee that feels good about what they do because they have power to make their own decisions. And we have bosses or managers in a position where they're able to do their job more effectively because they're not constantly handling issues that should be stuff they shouldn't have to deal with. Another thing that we can do is, and nowadays this is almost a requirement, is to implement a multi-channel support system. Now, the challenge with multi-channel support is that we have to man all those channels. So it's hard if you have support requests coming in from Facebook and email and phone calls and walk-ins, understandably. That said, each customer has their own preference about the way they want to do business. And the best way to approach it is to meet them where they are. Allowing them to use anything they want to reach out to us is the better option. The key is to use technology to automate that. There are tools out there that we can get, platforms we can get, that offer multi-channel support, and they funnel it all together into one ticketing system. That's the smart way to go about it. Because if we're able to do that, we allow them unlimited options. If we only give a phone number and they call and then, oh, we're sorry, the office is closed. Then they call the next day, they have to do it on their lunch break. We're sorry, there's 28 people in the queue. People are going to get really annoyed really fast. If instead we're like, hey, whatever works for you. If they're on their phone, they could open WhatsApp and they could call or text. If they want to be on social media and they're scrolling, they don't need to create a new account or register a customer account. They can just go in there, pop it in there, give us their order number, and boom, they're off and running. So if we offer support through various channels, like phone, email, live chat, social media, self-service portals are a really great idea also, then we're going to be able to make people a lot happier. The self-service portal is a great way to do it because it's like a knowledge base with a search bar. And we basically, all the most popular issues, we want to catalog those and we want to create complete answers to them. Because what that's going to do is let people help themselves, so they're going to get even faster customer support, and it's going to offload pressure from the team because they no longer have to handle the same repetitive tasks and questions over and over again. So the most important thing about doing that is just making sure that we're consistent in that service across all the channels. If we let one slide, we're better off not to have it than to have it and then not actually interact with it or not handle those requests. Another thing that we can do that's very powerful is to personalize interactions whenever and wherever we can. One of the things that my parents used to go to a restaurant when I was a young kid, and they only went on very special occasions. We didn't have a lot of money, and it was a special restaurant, but for an expensive one. But for special occasions, they would go to this restaurant called the Eatery. And one of the amazing things about the Eatery is you needed a reservation. And so you would basically go in, and one of the nice little touches that this place did is they would create matchbooks with your name engraved on them. Or your, I guess not engraved, but embossed, right? They would create these matchbooks. And remember, this is before print-on-demand services. So right now, this is a lot easier to do. If you had a reservation 2 days in advance, You could very easily go online, order the things, and they'd have them shipped to you and you'd have it. This is before the days of that. I'm not even quite sure how they pulled this off. But that's not the best part of the story. The most amazing part of the story, and the thing that made them lifelong customers, is that while they always liked the nice touch of having their names on a matchbook when they went in for, which is so funny now because smoking is not even legal in most places anymore, but that shows you how long ago it was. And so it was great to get that, and they'd come home and they'd always be proud of it. But the amazing part of the story is that one time they went in, they thought they had a reservation, and they had mistakenly made the reservation at a different, it was either for a different time or at a different restaurant. And the host looked at the reservation sheet and didn't see the name and said, "Excuse me a minute." Went in the back room, came back out and said, "Oh, we're so sorry. We had switched lists. So the other person had left with the other clipboard. I didn't realize it. My apologies. We'll have a table for you in a couple of minutes. Can we get you a complimentary drink or whatever else?" So they do that. They have the complimentary drink. They go, they sit down. Matchbooks are on the table, and they eat their meal. They come home. And when they come home, they're thinking, "Wow, that was a great experience, whatever. I'm surprised they forgot about our reservation." They look at their calendar and realize they made a mistake. That's how they realized they weren't even supposed to be at the eatery that night. This restaurant not only handled it like a champ and like a true professional by not embarrassing them and saying you don't have a reservation, gave them a table and still got the matchbooks done somehow. I don't know if they print up multiple for each customer knowing they might come back. I have no idea to this day how they did it. But those personalized interactions, and those are obviously like tchotchkes or things, but the same idea applies to customer service. If we reference people by their name, if we connect with stuff that they've referenced on a call, oh, my daughter, my son, my dog, if we remember those little details when we talk to them again, that stuff really stands out. And it will really differentiate us as someone who cares about our customers, and they will love it. We want to tailor our interactions to individual customers. Use their name, acknowledge any previous interactions, if we know their birthday, any kind of personalized recommendations, any of their history, preferences, whatever. Another thing we can do is pretty obvious and clear, but we can reduce response time. If we can get a response to customers really quickly, that always goes a long way. I've been dealing with an online web service for my website hosting. And I have my own hosting account. But for a blog in particular, I went with a company that specializes in WordPress hosting. And I have to say, these guys blow me away. This company is Nestify. And I set up my WordPress site on there. And they're so responsive that every time I have any little issue, I put it in the chat, I get responses right away. They check stuff, they fix stuff. And it's not even that expensive. They're not making a lot of money from me. But the service, the quality of the service, the responsiveness is so quick, so thorough, so professional that it makes it stand out, as I mentioned it on this. And it stands out among everything else I've dealt with because most everything else is send us an email, we'll respond within a day. So we want to respond as promptly as we can and as courteously as we can because it makes a big difference when we are attentive to what customers need and we're responsive. Another thing we want to do is implement feedback mechanisms. We want to encourage our customers to provide us feedback, good, bad, and ugly. We might not like what every customer has to say, but if we don't know it, we can't make any changes. So after every interaction with the support and with our company, we want a feedback form so we know we can identify areas of improvement and we can see where we're knocking it out of the park. That way we're going to be able to make adjustments and constantly keep enhancing our customer experience. We want to focus on continuous improvement. There's no finish line to customer service. We can always be getting better. So in addition to how well we're doing right now, even if we are good and we're patting ourselves on the back, we have to be regularly reviewing and analyzing the customer service metrics so that way we are able to understand how we're doing and what those trends look like so we can make adjustments as we might need to make adjustments and make sure we're always providing that heroic or world-class service that we want. We want to definitely emphasize empathy and emotional intelligence with our staff or our team and ourselves when we're dealing with customers. We can't get offended. We can't take it personal if they are insulting to us or our product. We understand that they're frustrated. That's all it is. Every time I've dealt with a customer who is angry or frustrated, if I've treated them with respect and I've treated their issues with validity, it almost 99.9% of the time, it diffuses the situation. By the end of the call, they're apologizing and they're happy for the help. Because that's all anybody wants. They don't want to be mad. They just want their problem solved. And when they feel like they're being stonewalled or misled or lied to, they're going to get very frustrated. If we diffuse that, we not only make them happy, but now we've probably got ourselves a lifelong customer. And another thing we can do is resolve issues proactively. If we anticipate anything is happening, say we get an issue with a customer about a particular product, and we know we've shipped 10 others. Instead of waiting for all 10 of those people to call us or hoping that they don't, we can reach out to all of them and say, hey, just so you know, we discovered this. Here's how to solve it. Wow. People would be amazed that we would actually do that. And another thing that's really important for us to do is to celebrate the successes and recognize our achievements. Customer service can sometimes be thankless. It can be a hard job or function in any business. So if we celebrate successes and we acknowledge and recognize achievements, that is super important. It also reinforces the behavior and gets more people wanting to do the same, so they also get accolades and feel good about it. And it rewards people for behaving the way we want them to and treating people the way we want them to be treated. Creates the right culture. So the takeaway here is that by focusing on these strategies and continuously seeking ways to enhance the customer experience, we can improve customer service and foster long-term loyalty and satisfaction with our customer base.